Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. I'm your host, Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome, everybody. Today, I'm looking at the Hot Wheels Star Wars The Child, The Force, released in 2021. This particular variant of the Child, aka Grogu in his hover pram, was first seen in Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 1, when Mando and Grogu fight the Mudhorn. I have to say, I'm a massive fan of The Mandalorian. I think it is one of the best Star Wars projects that we've seen in a long time, just in my opinion. And, am I a fan of having basically a 95% reuse of a mold? But I do like this piece quite a bit. Now, if I grab the last Grogu we looked at, the Child in the hover pram, you can see the only difference here is the Child itself. That's it. Same exact pram, same blanket, just different Child. And of course, we'll have some size comparisons later to compare the two. Moving on to the size, like I just mentioned, this is the same exact mold except for Grogu. So it's going to measure in at the same length as the Child in the hover pram I reviewed previously, which is a tad under 1.5 inches long. Now for my overseas fans, that comes into just over 4 millimeters. So not the biggest ship by all means, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. So we do have a little bit to look at today. We're going to check out the mold, look at the fine details, check out that paint, put it on a stand, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. Alright. Let's get this video started looking at the mold. Just like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the item, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. Now, technically, I already looked at this mold, so I'm going to try my best to be very brief with it. So let's get to it. First of all, we have our hover pram, which looks very nice. Of course, the paint makes all the details around it, and you sort of lose track of them. But on the whole, it's very nicely done. We have plastic at the top, die cast on the bottom. On the bottom section, we have 2 rivets holding it together, copyright cap, and a peg port for our stand. In the front, we have our controls. Looking good, some nice recesses there. On the sides, we have our hinges. You can see the interior piece as well. On the top, we have our pram cover. I wish they made a version that could shut all the way, but it is what it is. For the interior, we have our blanket, and of course, little Grogu, and he looks great, and that's what we're going to focus on when we talk about the fine details, because I love this mold. Very nice. So that covers all the major sections of this particular piece. So now let's get a closer look. And now having a closer look, we're going to begin with the bottom of the pram. We can see our peg port, copyright cap, 2 rivets holding it together. And I turned the lights down so that way we could see the light detail in here. 2 raised sections, a recess in the aft. Looking good. And then we could have our control panel right here. We can see a couple recesses. Looking nice. And we have a nice raised section going around. A little recess here. Our hinge looking very nice. Turning it around. Again, I already looked at this vessel, so I'm not going to go too much into detail. There's not much here to begin with. But very nice. For the hood section, we can see it does look like it could telescope, which is nice. You can see some recess in here, some line work. Very sharp. And I love the 2 little teeth sections here. Very cool. For the interior, you can see it's just molding. Nothing really to write about. Interesting, right? Now, for this plastic piece, you can see there's not really any detailing on it, for the aft anyway. Coming up to the front, we can see there is a nice little recess right here with these little sections. Looking pretty cool. We have our blanket, which has some nice wrinkles and folds in there. Very cool. I think that came out great. And then, of course, we have our interior of the hinges, which looks pretty good. Not really the best molded, but it gets the job done, and I think it looks pretty cool. Now, here we go. We got Grogu. Look at that. That face is amazing for the size of this. You can see the little wrinkles there. He's concentrating. You can see the ears, the nose, the mouth, the forehead. Look at all those wrinkles there. Fantastic. And this, of course, is a rubber material. I forgot to mention that. But then moving away from the head, let's look at the back real quick. You can see the back of his jacket has a little flash on there from the molding process, but nicely detailed. Again, nicely detailed. I love his hands. Look at that. Very cool. And of course, beautiful detail on the front. And his other hand grip in the side looks great as well. All in all, a great looking piece. And that's everything I have to say about the mold. Hopefully I didn't leave anything out. In short, yes, it's the same exact hover pram we've gotten before, including the blanket. But this nice Force Grogu looks great in my opinion. I love this. Looking sharp. So now let's take a look at the paint. And now looking at that paint on the Hot Wheels Star Wars The Child of the Force, this baby features about 6 different colors. And most of them, actually all of them, are on the original Child in the hover pram, so it shouldn't be a shock to anybody. The main color we see here is a nice off-white, followed by some nice orange. And all these designs here are the same as the original hover pram. If I grab that, you can see there is no difference here. All the paint decals are the same, or I should say the details, and it is what it is. You know, it's supposed to be the same exact pram, so I'm not really bothered by it, but paint apps are good nonetheless. I like this little detail here. Looks like the paint is worn and used, and I dig it. In the interior, we have a metallic dark gray for these hinges right here and here. Looking good. We have a dark brown blanket, a really nice orange interior, which you can see right in the back here, and then coming around the front by Grogu. Looking good. For Grogu, he has a light tan jacket, green skin, and pink ears. No black for the eyes this time. All in all, a fantastic looking paint job. I would dare to say a little wash on Grogu in the blanket, and even the pram would look good, but it is what it is. All in all, a great piece. So that's everything I have to say about the mold and the paint. So now let's put this baby back on a stand and compare it to some other pieces. And just like other Hot Wheels vehicles, it comes with this cool translucent base. We can see the Mudhorn symbol on there looking dope. So what you're going to do is peg the stand into the port right here. You hear a click. And just like that, everybody, you are good to go. And now for a quick size comparison with the Hot Wheels Star Wars The Child of the Force, released in 2021, seen in the center. I have some other Hot Wheels related vessels. First, on the right hand side, we have the Child in the hover pram, the first released, and you can see they're the same size. And then on the left hand side, we have the Mandalorian's Razor Crest. Very nice vehicle in my opinion, and all these go well together. And before we move on, here is a comparison of both Grogu's close up. And you can see they are very different from each other, and I dig it. I think they look great. Which one do you guys prefer? Let me know in the comments below. And for a bonus size comparison with the Hot Wheels Star Wars The Child of the Force seen in the center, first on the right hand side, we have the original release of Yoda's Jedi Starfighter, which looks great. And finally, on the left hand side, we have the Mandalorian Speeder, which is brand new and came out in the same wave as the Child using the Force. And I have to say, these are nice pieces that go well together, and we'll be looking at this one next. As always, if you would like to see reviews of any of the ships I showed today, check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars The Child of the Force, released in 2021. This, is it a brand new, great looking mold? Debatable. However, they did give us a brand new Grogu piece in it, which makes it a unique item. This is very specifically from the episode where Grogu fights the Mudhorn and saves the Mandalorian. It was a very epic scene in the show and a very memorable one. So the fact that they went with this particular mold is in a way genius because it builds on that nostalgia of that scene. And I have to admit, for me, it's working. I like this mold. I think it's cool. I'm a fan of the original Child in the Hover Pram, but this is a totally different scene. and it has feeling to it. Like, look at that mold of Grogu. They captured that. And I gotta give credit where credit's due. So building upon that, for the mold, we've seen it before, but the child is what sells it. You know, it is very nicely done. I love the detailing on the face. Exquisite. For the paint, again, we've seen them all before. It's the same 6 or 7 colors mixed together. And it works. It matches the old hover pram. And the child looks very nice. Now you could tell where the hands are very glossy and the head is very, almost like a translucent rubber material. But I have a feeling it works. You know, for me, looking at it, I dig it. I think it looks great. And from a distance on a shelf, it looks amazing. You can't really pick up that the two greens are slightly different. It looks great. And then we also have the pink, the orange, the brown, the off-white. Everything works together. Now, this is a Hot Wheels ship, and it does come with a nice translucent stand. I think it's actually kind of cute with this one, because just like the old hover pram, it does come with a nice stubby stand with a little pylon, and it fits the Grogu and the hover pram beautifully. I think it's a great little stand mechanic they have there. And basically, that's everything I have to say about this Grogu today. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up. And if you'd like to see new videos every week, subscribe. Again, to all of you out there, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch my content. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.